Hey everyone, welcome to part number 9 of our travel through the 100 greatest American currency notes of all time. This week we are tackling numbers 20 through 11. Yeah, we've cracked the top 20. So let's get started this week with number 20. Number 20 is a $100 legal tender. This is the $100 legal tender from 1869. Technically, this is part of the Rainbow series, even though it doesn't have the rainbow. The $100 note features Abraham Lincoln on one side, and the vignette on the other side was called Reconstruction. You can see the T-square and the draft drawings. The child is holding the draft drawings there. It was interesting because Lincoln was already assassinated by the time Reconstruction even started. So putting these two together on the same note was kind of, well, let's just say kind of off. That's number 20. Now, there are approximately 30 of these notes still known, and you can see by the prices, even 10 grand for just finding anyone in any particular condition, that's a pretty steep price. 125 if it's 125,000 in a 40. And you can see here 2020 auction gem 65 sold for over $300,000. So that's number 20, the $100 legal tender note from 1869. Number 19 on the list is the $500 legal tender from 1862 and 1863. Now, in those years, you're not going to find a whole lot of people carrying around $500 bills, nor are you going to have a lot of people with confidence to have $500 bills. So many of these were simple bank-to-bank transactions. $500 bill you would think would be one of the first porthole notes with the circular figure in the center, but not quite, since most people never even got a chance to see these. The 1862 and 1863 $500 legal tender, there's about 6 of these known, and they will sell for upwards of $500,000. So yeah, you're probably not going to see one of these come on the market anytime soon. That's number 19, the 1862 and 1863 $500 legal tender note. Number 18 on the list. This one is the $100 treasury or coin note. You can see here it says treasury note on the top. It says $100 in coin because the treasury was guaranteeing the value on this note with various coins, whether they be gold, silver, platinum, copper, whatever the case is. They just weren't specifying specifically what it is. Not what makes the note famous. What makes the note famous is the engraving on the back. It is known as the watermelon note, the $100 watermelon, because if you look real close, this pattern right here in the 1 is what was used in the 0, but because of the arcs, it makes it look like a pair of watermelons on the back of this particular note. Now, there's about 35 to 40 of these still in existence, and trying to get your hands on one of these can easily run you $125,000. That is number 18, the $100 Series 1890 watermelon note. Number 17 on the list is the $1,000 Confederate States of America Montgomery note. It's called the Montgomery note right there. You've got Montgomery on there. This is the most collectible Confederate States of America note in existence. It was the first issuance of a $1,000 denomination from the first series. There weren't very many printed in the first place. I believe it said there was about 999 sheets that were printed, so there weren't many of these to start with, and you're talking about 109 of them existing today. If you were to try to get your hands on one of these, you're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of $65,000 to $100,000. The Montgomery note from 1861. This is number 17 on the list. Number 16 on the list. This is an 1899 $1 silver certificate known as the Black Eagle. The Black Eagle from 1899. This was the replacement for the $1 educational series of 1896. They printed quite a few of these, so these are fairly easy to get your hands on, but that doesn't change the beauty of the note. It is one of the only notes that features 2 presidents on the front. You've got Lincoln here, Grant here. Let's take a peek at the back. You can see this has the wide open white spaces so that you can see the fibers right there. The 1899 $1 silver certificate, there's approximately 20 to 30,000 of these still around, and it's one of the few notes you can find for the $100 range. Now, nicer ones are going to run $200, $300, $400 without a problem, but these can still be had for $100, $150. The 1899 $1 silver certificate, the Black Eagle, this is number 16 on the list. Number 15 on the list is the 1890 $2 treasury note. The series of 1890 has a bunch of notes in this list. This is the $2 denomination. The $2 denomination from 1890, not 1891. The 1890 version has the ornate green back like this. Very familiar to the 1862 version of the notes with the deep green backs. The $2 denomination is known specifically because of its use in horse racing. There are approximately 600 to 900 of these still out there, with a value reaching anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 depending on the particular grade. You can see the bottom there, this starts off at $450 in VG, but once you get to that VF20 range, now you're talking $3,000 easily. That is number 15 on the list, the 1890 $2 treasury or coin note. Number 14 on the list is one of the most unusual pieces you're going to find because it's not a note. This is known as the fractional shield. The fractional shield is basically a poster of all of the fractional notes from the first 3 series of fractional currency. Now, when I say poster, these are the actual fractional currency specimens that have been glued in place here. It covers all the denominations from the first 3 series of fractional currency, and this was put together so that people could identify counterfeit notes and know that this was actually what the notes would look like. All of the notes that were in here were specimen notes, so they were only one-sided. So when you see fractional specimens, they have the potential to have came out of one of these fractional shields. The fractional shields, there are about 400 to 600 of these that are still around, and they can run anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. They usually will come framed like this in a wooden frame with the glass covering. That is number 14, the fractional currency shield. Number 13 on the list is the 1862 and 1863 $1,000 legal tender. Much like the $500 legal tender that was shown earlier, very, very difficult note to get a hold of. It seems that there was only 155,900 of these printed. There are 201 of them that have not been identified or returned, and of that, only 4 of them are known. So there may be a few of these laying around out there that people don't know about. The $1,000 note, there's the back of it right there. You're talking $500,000 if you can find one of these particular notes. That is number 13 on the list, the 1862 and 1863 $1,000 legal tender. Number 12 on the list is the $5 National Gold Bank note. National Gold Bank note are the original series. These are from 1870 is when the act was, and these are very reminiscent of the $5 National Bank notes, but these were specifically gold bank notes. They have the brown back look, but then the inset is actually all of the different gold coins that you could find. Now, these, of course, were mainly in California because of the California gold rush. There was a lot of gold in California, a lot of gold coins being made, and much easier to have the banknotes rather than actually holding all of that gold. That's number 12 on the list. You're going to find these anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000. Number 12, the $5 National Gold Banknote. And finally, number 11 this week, this is the 1896 $2 silver certificate, part of the educational series. The $2 certificate features, how did they put it here? Science presenting steam and electricity to industry and commerce. That is what you have, science presenting steam and electricity to the figures here. Taking a look at the back, it features Robert Fulton and Samuel Morse, two inventors of the time. That is number 11 on the list, the 1896 educational note, the $2 denomination. There are between 3,500 and 5,000 of these out there, and in decent shape. You can expect to pay anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. In really nice shape, these are going to be going for about $12,000. That is number 11, and that concludes this week's top 10. Next week, we have the actual top 10 of the 100 greatest notes, so stay tuned. Guys, thanks for watching. See you then.